is up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Blood Splatter Chatter. Verno and The Missing Link with you on another Sunday fun day, doing a double feature this time of two 2025 movies. Good pairing, I gotta say. A couple legacy films, couple old big franchises from the late 90s, early 2000s, Final Destination, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Of course, Bloodlines, and then the one that's just called I Know What You Did Last Summer, 2025. But I went and saw I Know What You Did Last Summer in the theaters when it came out, and then I just pirated it again. Don't tell anybody last night, just to do a little refresh on it. And then I heard a lot of hype about Bloodlines Final Destination. It's got a crazy Rotten Tomato score for this franchise. It's at 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 6.8 IMDb, which to compare that to the original Final Destination, it's only at a 49%. Take that.
Really?
The way you would take it. I'm not surprised, honestly, that it's that much higher. I'll say before we even get into it, I think it's the best one that they've ever done, hands down, like fucking by a mile. I think, but we'll get into that. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, just before we get into these, we'll go through them one at a time. When we get to I Know What I Did Last Summer, we'll save the spoiler and the end reveal till the end of that one. We'll give a nice spoiler warning before we spoil, because of the nature of that film, of course. But also just throwing out, we are in the midst of Road to Halloween, doing our little evolution of the slasher series. Been a shit ton of fun so far. And this Thursday night, it continues with Dracula, Prince of Darkness from 1966, the second Christopher Lee Dracula movie that we ever get. But what up, Missing Link? How we doing, man? How we doing?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. Speaking of Road to Halloween, go check out Blood and Black Lace if you haven't. The conversation on that, and go check out the movie as well if you haven't. That was I couldn't believe it. I was like, Jesus, I told you guys this already, but I was like, I get it. Like, I get Robbie and Verno and Dylan and all their love for, but great movie. But these movies, very curious. This will, without saying too much.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a one I really enjoyed. The other one I was kind of, we'll get to that though. I had some questions about it. I'll say,
I got a lot. I'm glad we're going to be able to get to talk. I have a feeling you're talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer, because I too have questions. Just like, yes. That we'll get into. Yeah. So that'll be a fun one to break down. I'll just say I'm gonna be jerking off Bloodlines because I loved it. So let's get into that. We'll do the Final Destination Bloodlines first. This one, it's the sixth one in the franchise. There hasn't been one since 2011, and I thought I had seen them all. I just rewatched them because we did 1 and 2 like a couple months back. I thought I had rewatched all of them and went through. Anyway, it turns out I had never seen 5. So I still haven't seen it. I put it on last night and just kind of had it on in the background, and it felt like it was even older than it is. Like the whole franchise is so it feels so 2000s in some good ways and some bad ways. That's why I appreciated this one so much. It felt like so different than the other ones, even like with the formula. Every single Final Destination movie starts out, you have a premonition, it stops, and then you just follow that character. And the way, for people that haven't seen this one, there's a fantastic catalyst event at the beginning, sets everything in motion, but then it jumps to the future, and you find out that event back in 1968 is what really was the springboard to everything that's ever happened in the franchise. So death has been catching up to this certain family. So in this one, we have this entire family who, that's why it's called Bloodlines. Their grandmother has been like hiding herself away and like stopping death and preventing it from getting the rest of her family, which was never supposed to be born, which is another idea that I believe is introduced in this one into the franchise, where like if you have kids after you've stopped death, then those kids are in line too. And I thought it was refreshing just in so many ways, but in that way, how it was just different. They didn't follow the same exact formula, but it was still familiar enough, but felt new. It didn't feel like it was a throwback, or it could have been a standalone movie. But I'm pretty hype on it. What did you think, dude?
No, I gotta say I enjoyed it. Off rip, it start. Those have become, I guess, like a staple of the franchise. But I feel like this one, it had a lot of energy. I can't find the right word for it, but it was very epic off. Some of the openings come off a little cheesy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like 3 in particular, I don't hate it, but like the whole roller coaster thing. But and there's like cool shout outs to different ideas throughout the franchise. Like off rip, you mentioned the whole cabin thing. That immediately made me think of Devin Swa in the first one when he goes to the cabin just for a little bit to try to okay.
Yeah.
And he's got it all rigged and shit. So I was like,
that.
Yeah, there's cool callbacks. It's like you said, it's not like they're rehashing or ripping off. They're taking concepts and ideas that have been laid out throughout the franchise and kind of evolving them. Like instead of this, I kind of like the whole spin of it being a family thing. Like I don't want to say it immediately makes me think of like shit like The Hills Have Eyes, but there's a different aspect when it comes to horror and family than it's like a group of friends or random strangers and stuff like that. Makes it you're like, okay, even if these people don't get along, they're family, so that makes you want to stick around that much more just to see the family dynamic play out, I guess.
Right.
But I will say the gore, I always kind of felt like other movies in the franchise, the gore would kind of look cheap a little bit. This one was like on point, like the blood, the just everything, the splatter, the chatter. But no, I got it. I was kind of disappointed. It was my own expectations, but I was kind of like thinking like maybe they're gonna retcon it and Devin Sawa is gonna make a cameo and he's gonna help this chick, and that wasn't that. But they did have one cool cameo that I appreciated, even though it was just a cool cameo. Yeah,
I think that was enough because obviously what you're talking about is Tony Todd being in it. I almost said Tony Scott because we're just talking about true romance directed by Tony Scott. I thought, well, I mean, we'll get into it when I Know What You Did Last Summer, but bringing in legacy characters, I think a lot of times they'll do that to get butts in the seats, but it makes it harder to write the movie, like to really pull it off. In this way, the cameo that we get, Tony Todd, he's in every one. It fit. They even tied it in. I loved that. Like they tied it in so we see the origin of why Tony Todd is a part of this franchise in the first place. I thought it was so good. Well, let's start with I think the term would be catalyst event, where basically it's like we're back in 1968. There's this woman, she's pregnant, her boyfriend is proposing to her, and it's this really emotional thing. And they're in like this Sky Needle type. I had to think about it. It's not like the actual Sky Needle, it's some Sky Needle type building. I think they're in California. And I thought, like, comparing it to the other ones, I think it's the best. Like, what would be your favorite? And we'll get into the details of this one. But what comes to mind when you think of like your favorite openings to a Final Destination movie, like the catalyst event? Well, let me run through them real quick, actually, just to remind everybody. We got the airplane in the first one. We've got the highway with the logging truck, which I really appreciated. There's like 2 or 3 little nods to logging trucks in this movie that I thought was pretty cool. That's one of the most famous ones. There's the roller coaster in the third one, which you mentioned. There is the speed, like the racetrack that they're at, where it's so CG heavy in the fourth one. They just go CG crazy in that one. And there is the bridge collapse, which I haven't even seen. That's in the fifth one, which I'm not that familiar with. But I think this one, just because the emotional weight, there's so many of them, like you mentioned. Sometimes you don't even know the people. Like in part 2 on the highway, there's all these people like forming bonds and relationships while driving in cars. And it's like, it makes no sense when you get these people together. The best ones are when they know each other, like in 1 and 3 that I can think of, and maybe 4. But how do you think this one holds up or stands up to the other ones?
I would say it's my favorite. They're even though it's vague and loose, they're like emotional attachments that they place. So it makes it a little like, oh, damn, like in the other ones, it's just kind of like people, cannon fodder, I hate to say. That I will say, but outside of this one, maybe it's nostalgia, but I am fond of the opening of 1. Just for sure. Shout out to him. And the bridge one, I will say the bridge one, it is more recent, but I actually haven't seen the movie, but I did it when we watched the first 2 a couple months ago. I watched the openings on YouTube.
Okay, I should have done that. I should have paid attention when I put it on last night. But yeah,
but this one I will say, like, the Tony Todd as a little boy, we see his mom talk to the main chick, and talk to her about like far along are you? It's little subtle things like that, like small connections like that. So it's like when these characters start getting iced, you're kind of like, oh no, not her, not them,
Exactly.
So
I think for the first time in the franchise that you're like, there's any emotional weight behind the
yes,
opening event, right? Like you
yep,
don't feel anything in any of the other ones other than like, oh, like, which I
yeah.
like.
Oh,
I
that's
like when
messed
I have
up.
that reaction. Oh, a logger or a big log right to the face. No, this one, like, there was actual heart. There was so many elements that I fucking loved about it. Like the editing was so cool. The way that they had the live band playing "Shout," kick your hands up and shout, like, a little bit softer now. Like, I loved that. I love that so much. And the way the editing got so chaotic, and the penny, the way they
Yeah,
worked in the penny, and just like all the like the kills in this were, it couldn't have, like, the other ones crawled so this one could run. Like, it
yes,
took the
yes.
ideas that came from the other movies of the franchise. I just think it did it better in almost every way. I like
Fully realized.
the little shithead kid throwing pennies off the off it. I wish he would have, like, somehow
Yo,
came back as an adult, because I wish he would have lived in that or something, so we would have seen him since he was a kid. What were you gonna say?
I kind of appreciated that at the end of when, because he kind of is like a little shit little kid. I hate to say it, but he's like kind of like when on a stairwell and it collapses. He's kind of like the hold up and everyone falls out. He just looks back, takes off running. Then at the end, he makes it to the end, like the bottom stairs, and he thinks he's escaped, and like the piano smashes him. And I
Piano,
thought that was pretty ballsy. Like you don't see too many kids' deaths.
for sure.
Uh, it wasn't too graphic either, but it's like
No.
usually there's like a cutaway or something. Like these guys went the extra mile, and because the kid, he was like, I made it, and then splat, so that
They
was very
looked good
satisfying.
too, like
Yeah,
the CG kills that we get in this one, because there is a couple times that they use CG, never
mhm,
bothered me. A lot of times it
yeah,
is like that, like a body just exploding or being
subtle
squished or
things.
whatever, but it looked great. The one moment in it that was, like, really visceral to me is when the boyfriend, or now the fiance, since they're about to get married, or he just proposed, when he's holding on to that bit of really thick glass and his hands are being cut up, like when he's keeping himself from falling, that was cringe inducing. The lady gets lit on fire. It's so chaotic and so different than most of the events that we get. It's just like there's a lot
Yeah,
more going on, but in a very clean, like, readable way. There's no, like, confusion about what's happening or anything.
and I will say, like, I don't feel like the death was as much a character in the movie as like the first one. I feel like they really tried to give like death uh, a weird personality in a way.
Mhm.
This one, it's it's not there, but that doesn't bother me. I was just gonna say I kind of feel like that's the idea that I'm kind of glad they pulled back on, because it's like, how do you make this non this entity like that doesn't speak? How do you
Mhm.
give it personality and shit like that? So it does work. um what else was I
Well, I
going
was gonna say, to respond to
sorry.
that, the grandma. Yeah, and you're right. It's not like it's a character in the movie, but the grandma, like, talking to it gives it a little bit of that.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
"Ah, you son of a bitch." I love when she's like, "Fuck off, I see you," and, when he's trying to
Question
burn the
about that.
rifle and all that.
Okay, so I took it as like, because the grandma had been out in hiding for all these years, like
Mhm.
that's why her family was able to live a normal life, because death was trying to constantly was that it, like death was trying to constantly come at her all these years, so her
That's the
family.
way I read it. Like, it's locked into the order. So as long as
What?
she lived, it couldn't get the family.
What? Okay, so this, when I'm watching that scene when she steps out the cabin, I'm like, why do all that? Like
Right.
just to prove a point? Like, do
I think
you
it's
believe me
because
now?
I thought the same exact thing. I think they can kinda get away with it because she
Yeah.
had cancer. So she knew
Ah,
that she was
okay.
gonna die, and she's like, "If
Yeah,
I'm gonna die, I might as well use my death to, like,
that's
inspire her
important.
granddaughter to see the truth or whatever."
Now,
But
okay, now was that something? I think that was a little hazy. The whole bloodline aspect of why granddaughter got the. Is it like a
mhm.
generational thing, or did the mom have it, or is the mom just weirded out because
why she had like the premonitions. You're saying? I don't
Yeah.
know. Like why it skipped
Okay.
the mom and everybody and went straight to her. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. That's it. That's a good. I
Okay.
mean, maybe that's just like she's the one that carried the premonition gene or whatever. The other thing that my wife was saying, like, oh well, the franchise has to be over now. It's like no, there could just be someone else that's capable of having a premonition. They stop death somehow. I think it's honestly, I think this is like the best that you could ever do with this franchise. I don't know how that you could write a movie. And don't get me wrong, this isn't like Gone with the Wind or like I don't want to overstate what I'm saying, but I think to make this to make a film in this franchise, it's harder to write something cleaner than this. To tie
Yeah.
in the past, tie in Tony Todd's origin, wrap it up in the way you know what I mean. It's so like
Yeah.
intricate for this franchise. It's almost impossible to make a better Final Destination movie. I think.
The next one would have to, because I that kind of shocked me as well. Like I was looking it up, I was like, wait, when did the fifth one come out? Or this is the sixth, right? Yeah, I was like the
Yeah.
fifth, and I was like, oh my god, it's been like 15, almost 15
Mhm.
years since it came out. Like that's a long time.
For sure.
So yeah, they did. I feel like this one made money, didn't it? Like this has
It
been
made a
pretty.
boatload of money. It's got a $50 million
Okay.
budget and it made 285 million. So
Oh, we're gonna see a sequel.
I mean, there's gonna be another one. I think it'll be even bigger. Well, one thing that's promising, the writer of this was John Watts, who directed all the MCU Spider-Man movies.
Spider-Man?
So
No shit.
he says, I think I don't quote me on this, but I think he may have been involved in some previous ones. I could totally be wrong, but I know that he said like the franchise itself is like near and dear to his heart. So I could see him coming back. It was directed by this Canadian duo. I think they're both Canadian. Zach Lipkowski and Adam Steen or Stein.
Okay.
And they haven't done a whole shitload other than this. This is by far the most successful thing that they've done. They did a movie called Freaks in 2018 or 2019, which I've
Is
heard
that with
good things about with the little
Emil?
girl.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that was actually really it's indie, but like it was a great concept. Like they utilize a concept. Emil Hirsch is in it, but it's about like this little girl with powers, or she thinks she has powers. Her dad's kind of like paranoid. Emil Hirsch is the dad. Indie flick, definitely worth checking out.
Okay, I've like I said, I've heard nothing but good things. It's one of those that I've almost put on a handful of times, but I could see them coming back. Like I said, like these two
Yes.
directors, they haven't done a whole hell of a lot, and I could see them wanting to do another one. I just hope they take their time and don't kind of force it out because of how much money this one made. But I thought it was really good. Let's go through the kills. Or you know what?
Okay.
There's just something I want to say before I forget it. When the main character, what's her name? So I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Steph, right?
Steph, I should have known. Yeah. when when Steph pulls up to her grandma Iris's cabin out there, they like really linger on the back of the car, and the license plate is RFK 575. And it just jumped out to me instantly because RFK, like Bobby Kennedy Jr. is like a big person. He's the whatever he is right now. He's part of the Trump administration and some health department, whatever. I can't think of the name of it. I sound like an idiot. But his dad was RFK, Bobby Kennedy, assassinated in 1968, I think. So it caught my attention because of that. And I looked into it like, what does this mean? Is this an Easter egg or is it just coincidence? And what I found out was like, this is a thing. Like this license plate, let me read what it says here. When in the first Final Destination movie, when Stifler gets his head cut off by the train, in that shot, the license, you see the car in the back. I guess I didn't like go back and rewatch this. This is what I read.
Way.
But the license plate in that is RFK 575, which is the same thing. And it's also in a bunch of other movies. It was before that. This same license plate is in The Long Kiss Goodnight from 1996. It's in Zoolander from 2001, and it's in The Wolf of Wall Street in 2013. So it's just it probably is like some like inside joke in the props department, or you know what I mean? People that work in special effects or in props in Hollywood. It's this running joke that I don't quite get. But yeah,
There's
that's some conspiracy that they're trying to tell us something. But I thought it was cool.
No, yeah, you know, because I worked in the restaurant business when I was younger, and I remember seeing. I can't for the life of me think of the movie, but I remember they said 80 is something as 86, and I was like, I understand that reference. I get, and like in when you're as a server, food person, when something is 86, like an item on the menu or something, that means you're out of it. Like
it's gone.
86, yeah, it's gone. And so when I saw that, I was like, that's like, you know, that's restaurant code, obviously. But I could see that makes sense with the code, like between the props department or something like that.
There's another one, and I sound half ignorant because I don't know the exact details, but there's some other number that what it turns out to be, it's like a classroom number in like a special effects, whatever. It has to do with people that went to school for special effects, and many of them were in this certain classroom. So it shows up in everything. It's in like Spider-Man movies, big blockbuster movies where they're using shit like that. So I feel like this RFK 575 is something along those lines, some kind of inside Hollywood props people joke. But I just thought that was cool. All right, so the kills in this one. We got a bunch of them. There's the grandma dying. There's the uncle with the lawnmower. It's not a kill scene, but the nose ring bit, the garbage truck thing, the MRI machine, the vending machine. But you got one you want to pick out? What's one that stands out to you?
I will. So I did. I'll give two a little nod. My favorite was the MRI machine, just because leading up to that, I knew some bad shit was gonna go down. And just such a painful way to go at that. I think probably the most even worse than that, you know, down below, down under.
This was a funny movie too.
Yes.
Like one of my, sorry to cut you off, but like one of my complaints with some of the movies, like specifically part 2, and I know I feel like it's a fan favorite, but it's like there's a definite cheese in all of the movies prior to this. But some of them take themselves too serious. Like this one found the balance. Like it's really funny, especially with those two characters right there, the brothers, like or half brothers they turn out to be. But I thought it was really, really funny, and that might have been the funniest bit with his nose ring and his fucking dick ring and everything.
And that dude, I guess it's kind of karma because he mocked to death the most leading up to that. So it's like, you know, he got his due. But I will say the dad in the lawnmower scene, there was something very satisfying about that, because I thought they were just gonna show like the blood pop out, but you did see like the face get chopped up very, very subtly, and not subtly, but it's quick, but enough to see like the detail, like, oh, it's like ribbing his face up. But yeah, I'll give those two the little nod.
That one, they did such a good job with. I think that might have been my favorite one, possibly. The MRI one was great, don't get me wrong, but the lawnmower, it wasn't just that; it was the whole buildup. It was all the different things that they were showing you, and it's so they know, like they know what we're going to be thinking. They know anything that they show us that's kind of pointy, we're going to be like, oh, that's the thing. That's the thing that's going to kill him. And having the broken glass in the ice, in the cups, and just like playing with that idea, like, oh, how is this ice going to get him? The rake underneath the trampoline, the bottle of beer hanging on the edge, the lawnmower, which they showed earlier. Like they show it the first time you see the uncle, the one that dies from the lawnmower, he's out mowing the lawn. And when they show that, they kind of linger on him shutting it off. And you're like, but it doesn't come back for another 15, 20 minutes. I thought that was so good. I thought that was such a good one. When you look up like this movie, you just type in Final Destination Bloodlines, click on images, and most of the images are of that goddamn nose ring. And I thought that was so great. And it's not even a kill. He lives through, but that was really good too. Like the fan and just the buildup of that was excellent. You know what I really appreciated was the lack of liquid. All of this in the movies in this franchise use way too much, like, oh no, there's a drop of water and it's rolling down, and now it's touched some electrical outlet, and now it's done this.
Electrical fire.
Way overused.
I did think, I was like, damn, bro, in the Final Destination world, like does everyone just meet like a shitty, like, man, that's a weird coincidence, fate in this world? Does death not just let anybody? I mean, I'm sure he does, or it's like, what about the people that go away in their sleep? Like, how does death take care of them? Like, or is this just the death's just got the portion of people who have like crazy deaths? That's what he covers or death covers in this movie.
They're the only ones that make the movies, I think. Everybody else, they're like, yeah, let's not make a movie out of that one. I think. Oh, there's another one that was great. Was the garbage truck bit. Just how they think. I thought that was so clever too. They think it's the older brother, who was probably my favorite character, by the way.
Yeah,
Bam Margera looking nose ring guy. Like, there's a moment in the movie, like halfway through, where he almost becomes the main character, and they kind of.
I thought they were. They gave him a I was gonna say he had the most he definitely probably my favorite character too, but you know, I feel like he had the most personality. He's like one of those.
Richard Harmon, by the way, was the actor's name. Richard Harmon.
I feel like I might have seen him in something before, but at the same time, maybe he just really knocked it out the park. And this was like,
he was in the TV show The 100. He was in Grave Encounters 2. He plays a kid dressed up as a vampire back in 2007's Trick or Treat.
Oh wow!
So, yeah, he was in Percy Jackson, and the Olympians in 2010. Is he the main guy in that?
No, that's
oh no, he's not.
Logan.
Yeah, you got
it. He had to be an extra.
Yeah, I don't think. I guess this is... But I thought he was excellent because it was the same thing. I'm like, man, he must be something. His brother, by the way, or no, not his brother. I'm sorry, the main girl's brother, Charlie,
the young one.
He was Devon Sawa's son in the first season of Chucky. He's like the cousin in Chucky, yeah. So he worked with Devon Sawa.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking
asshole?
About? He's the one that like ends up like killing someone, because that was the whole thing in Chucky. Like, if Chucky can get you to kill someone, and I think he like beat someone to death with a baseball bat. Don't quote me on that.
Man,
but that's him. Yeah, he was.
I'm gonna go back and rewatch. He kind of looked familiar too, but I was like, he's too young. I don't know what I've seen him in, but I haven't seen all of it. I've seen most of season 1 of Chucky, but that damn. And I that's something I need to actually go back and watch. Shout out to Devon Sawa. A lot of Devon Sawa love today.
Oh, he gets a lot of love just in that damn series. He's everywhere you look. The other thing I wanted to say about the garbage truck kill is, first of all, no, that's a good example of like the CG looking really good. Like when they crush her head, it looked excellent. You could tell it was CG, but it's like, what other way do you crush a woman's head like that and make it work? I also loved how it was. If you remember how it goes down, she was gonna save her. Stephanie, the main character, was gonna save her. She had her pulling her out, and then when the family members get in front of the truck and they're like, "Stop! My sister's in there."
Jerk.
He hits the brake, and that's what makes her fall back down there, and she dies. Which I don't know. It was just like mean spirited, but funny.
Yeah, I did that little, just her hand and her hat, like how she was like screaming, so it's like the top half of her, it was just crushed off, bro. It was like it's fucked up but satisfying. Yeah,
the arm comes off and she's holding the arm. I loved it. And then we mentioned the MRI thing, but the thing right after that, where the spring from the vending machine blows through the Bobby, his name is, with the nut allergy,
and he's still like half alive.
I want to know if they talk to the Reese's company about like, hey, you guys want to do some marketing here? Because that would have been a really good bit. They're like, oh wait, if I'm gonna die, I'm not gonna die on these unsalted things. He's like, I want that. And if he would have pointed to a Reese's peanut butter cup, it would have been like, yeah, I agree. That would have been like
that would have been perfect marketing, because they could have been a mini commercial right there. He was like, because there's a little moment where he's like, dude, this is so good. He's like, I know.
So good. I know, right? It would have been perfect. Two Gun, my man, he's saying he's giving Bloodlines 4 out of 5. We'll be giving our ratings in just a few moments. And then we'll be doing I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025, which Pedro only gives 2 out of 5. I feel you, brother. I feel that. Chill out, man. I miss you, man. I haven't seen you in a bit. Says best thing about the blood splatter is the chatter. What's up, fella? Appreciate you being here. Says station. Oh, a fancy station. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Christina Payne. What's up? I appreciate you, Christina. Christina, reminding people, hit that like button. I always appreciate that. Chill saying my mind went to the completely wrong way when Vern said nut allergy. I wonder if anyone is allergic to that. That would be a great excuse. All right, so. Yeah, I guess, I mean, let's not spend too much time on it. We got another movie to do. So ahead and give me your, oh no, I do want to mention Tony Todd, just because this was his final performance.
Yes.
I've got to say, I think, I mean, I don't know if he shows up in every one of the movies. He shows up in most of them. And it's usually like, whatever, oh, it's cool. We got to see Candyman. It's not like, you know what I mean? I'm never like really like impressed by it. I don't know if it was just because I knew that he had passed away right after, but he's so frail. Like, he's so frail that it makes it kind of sad. And you can tell, like, oh my God, he's really sick when he filmed this. But he didn't, like, it wasn't in his voice at all or his performance.
Oh, yeah.
It was a really strong, like, fucking great performance. They had the music swelling behind him. Like, I think at the time that they made this, they knew that he was, he had either died or they knew he was gonna. But they added a little bit of emotion in there with the music. And I thought it was excellent. I thought it was probably his best, like, cameo in the franchise.
Yeah, it's fitting to be like, it's even with like the last thing he said is talking about you only get one life and enjoy it, and he like he's like enjoy. He's like he says something, but it's almost like a farewell to his audience at large at the same time, with this being his final role. So very fitting, very I didn't realize until like looking up research for this movie that there's like a Spider-Man 2 video game came out on PlayStation about 2 years ago, but Venom was in that game and he was the voice of Venom. And I didn't realize, I played that game like a year ago, didn't realize it until a couple of days ago. I was like, oh shit, shout out Tony Todd. But yeah, no, his voice, very powerful. Like you said, it almost doesn't fit because he does look very frail than what we're used to seeing him as, but the voice didn't sound like it went anywhere. Like that was iconic.
I'm glad that we got around. I had never seen that Night of the Living Dead 1990 remake. So that was really, that's the most I've seen him perform when he's not being Candyman, like a normal role. And I was, it was really impressive to see him in that, to see that he was a lot more than just the Candyman. Chill Out Man saying, yeah, the best Venom voice ever. Hell yeah. All right, so let's dive into it, man. Before we get into I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025, hit me with those ratings out of 5, you guys down in the chat, and the missing link. Where you stand on it, dude?
You know what?
And remind me what you gave part 1, if you can remember what you gave 1 and 2. Do you remember?
I feel like I gave like 1 maybe a 4, but that is based off of like maybe a 4.25, and that's being kind, just based off of nostalgia and the franchise that spawned and Devin Sawa. But admittedly, like this one is like we said earlier, it took the idea of it and evolved it. It's not trying to rehash it. It's the other ones are known for being cheesy. This one is actually like very, like, it's a horror movie at the end. Like you said, this isn't fucking Rosebud, Schindler's List or anything like that. Right. But in terms of the other movies, like, it's very, I'm going to give it a 4.5 because no cheese, satisfying kills. You like the characters, actually, most of them. The family dynamic is a new spin to the franchise, and it gave a tip of the hat to so many cool moments or ideas from previous movies. I was really surprised. I really enjoyed, and I was surprised by how much I enjoyed this, given the other ones.
I'm right exactly there with you. Now I'm glad you said it perfectly, because it's not, we say it all the time, like maybe I'd give whatever, some like big Exorcist, like maybe that would be a 4.5 for me, and I'm gonna give this a 4.5. It's a different thing. These are totally, you know what I mean, for what this one did, having to live in this franchise and like level it up, bring it into the modern day, and just like blow the other ones out of the water. Like, as good as the first one is, it's the idea. Like, that idea is the most impressive thing about it, and it's cool and it's fun. This one, I mean, this one's cool and fun too. I honestly think I was more entertained by this one than I've been. Entertained is the key word. Any movie this year so far. Like, it's not as good as a movie as Sinners, but I found this one, I would be more wanting to sit down and throw this one on before I would want to throw Sinners on again. I've seen it twice. I've seen Sinners twice.
What about 28 years?
No, see, I would say the same thing about 28 Years. 28 Years to me was more entertaining than Sinners. Part of it, it's not as long. Sinners has got that long ass run time, and it's so serious.
Yeah.
And there's so many like serious beats to get
Moments
through.
you gotta. Yeah.
28 was nice and short. It's almost on par though, because this one had more fun moments. You know what I mean? It's less serious and even more like entertaining, like more of a popcorn movie than 28 is. That are so fun, so goddamn good. And I would say, like, if you've never seen a Final Destination movie, like, you could start here. You don't even need the other ones. You'll get it. You'll just know, oh, this shit happened before, and it'll kind of explain why.
What is somebody? So top. Okay, in terms of entertainment, I would say like top. I did enjoy A Hell of a Summer. These two are in terms of just enjoyment, where I just sat down and just had a fun watch.
Yeah,
I would say these two are up there. And even though this isn't horror, K-pop Demon Hunters. It's a good movie. I know it's crazy. It sounds crazy, but it's actually really good. Those are the 3 movies I put on this year that were, man, these are actually good watches. Just fun, enjoyable, fun times.
I haven't seen too much outside of horror movies this year. The other one worth mentioning, since we're just talking about good 2025 movies, was The Ugly Stepsister. But that's, it's in a different language. It's maybe a little bit harder to, you know what I mean? I would be more reluctant just to throw that one on. Like, this is a little bit different. This is one, like, when my nieces come over, I'll be like, hey, have you guys seen Final Destination Bloodlines? Way before I'm going to be like, hey, have you seen The Ugly Stepsister? Can you guys read? You guys can all read pretty quick, right? All right. But all right, man, a 4.5 from the both of us. Da-da-da. Chill out, man. Says, have not seen it yet. Oh, have not seen it when I do watching all Mr. Todd's movie in one day. There you go, dude.
Ooh.
All right, hell yeah, my friend. So 4.5 from the both of us, and let us get into I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025. Again, I'll say up front, we're not going to spoil it just yet. We will in just a little bit here, so stick around for that. But we'll give you guys a nice spoiler warning before we spoil the ending. We'll spoil everything up until the ending in just a little bit, because I'm sure we're going to want to get into that pretty soon. So, I meant to look up. Luckily, I have the interwebs. I got them right here. First off, Rotten Tomatoes score, 36%. Ugh. IMDb, 5.6, compared to the 6.8 for Final Destination Bloodlines, which is really fucking high for IMDb for Final Destination. But again, this one, 5.6, 77% Google user rating. So not great. And it was directed by Jennifer Caton Robinson. This is what I meant to look up. I didn't see. What has she done? Nothing that I've ever heard of. She was involved in Thor, but obviously she didn't direct that one. So yeah. So whatever. I guess I didn't need to look her up. I don't know who she is. She directed a movie called Do Revenge in 2022. But this one, a lot of the things that, the first thing that I'd seen on this movie was like Bloody Disgusting, like a week before it came out. And they wrote an article. I didn't read the article, but the headline was something along the lines like they've amped up the kills, but they're still stuck in the past. And watching the movie, I'm like, I agree with that completely. In a way that Bloodlines was not stuck in the past. They were like actively trying to get away from the past to a degree. This one was, they're bringing back the legacy characters, like the main characters, not just a cameo. And it felt like a just like an older movie. They didn't update it in a way that really brought it into the modern age. And I will say, I didn't hate it. I definitely didn't hate it. I went to the theater and saw it, and I was just like, okay, it wasn't great. My wife really enjoyed it. I watched it last night on the computer, and I enjoyed it. I'm not saying it's a great movie, but I was like, okay, I was entertained by it. I was into the movie most of the way. But I feel like the opposite of what I've seen. I haven't seen much, but kind of the opposite of what I've seen online, where people are saying they weren't into the movie. And then Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. came in and saved the movie. And then it really got going. I felt almost the exact opposite. I felt like the first 45 minutes, when it's just these new characters, I was into it. I was like, okay, we got ourselves a nice little teen slasher. They've set up the premise, a little bit clunky, not my favorite way they set it up. We've got some kills, and I was like, okay, I'm into it. I'm feeling it. And then things bog down for me when they bring Jennifer Love Hewitt in. Freddie Prinze Jr. seeming pretty cheesy. And it's just like, it slowed the movie up for me. And then they didn't even really use Jennifer Love Hewitt that much, or either one of them that much, until the very end. and it was just kind of okay. I don't have like huge complaints other than some plot holes, which we can get into, but it's just kind of one of those like meh movies, like nothing too terrible. I'm more annoyed when I go to the theater and see a movie and I don't like it. That's probably partially why I didn't enjoy it as much. When I sat home and watched it for free on the computer last night, I was like, okay, well, that was fun. You know what I mean? It wasn't bad. But first of all, what up, Evan? What up, my brother? How you doing, man? Says I really like Bloodlines, giving it a 4 out of 5. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Link, what'd you think, man? I know what you did last summer, 2025.
I'm right there with you, man. I was kind of excited for this one too because we had I missed unfortunately, but when you covered the OG a few weeks ago, about going on a month ago, I was like really surprised by how much I enjoyed that rewatch. And it's not a perfect movie. There's a lot of cheesy melodrama, but it's of its era. It's indicative of its era, and it's like it's a almost cool homework piece to see like where their head was at.
Right.
Coming off just Scream and shit like that happened at the time.
Right.
But this one, this one is like where Bloodline. It's got a lot of similarities to Bloodlines, where it is a legacy film. It's trying to take something from not a bygone era, but previous era, and freshen it up for a new generation. Wow! But this one is like, it's got new stuff going for it, and it's like I say, the kills are more entertaining than anything in the OG.
Definitely.
But then the story sucks ass, and it's almost too reliant on the past without saying too much. Like because I remember you telling me that your wife had enjoyed this, and I was like, and Mark, friend Mark had told me that his daughter had enjoyed this, and I was like, I'm wondering if there's like, it's because maybe like, I don't know if your wife's seen the OGs. Is she?
Yeah. At least the first one for sure. Yeah. But I actually know now that I think about it, not super familiar with it. Not like we have. Not as she's a lot younger than me.
I feel like the lack of context, if you didn't have the context of like the first two films or weren't really aware of them going to this film, it might be a little bit more interesting. I was thinking like maybe that was like the dichotomy of the different views. But then it's like when I seen the movie, I'm like, this movie is very dependent upon seeing the first couple, to be honest. Like there's certain revelations that I don't know hold any weight if you don't know. This is it's appealing to nostalgia. This movie it's set up to look like it's something new, but it's just a disguise. It's costume. It's really trying to appeal to people who have seen these first couple movies. And I mean, it does work in a sense if you haven't seen them, but I don't think it's as strong without those connections, to be honest.
It's just some people. I mean, I'll speak for my wife. She's just not as picky. You know what I mean? She's not trying to like pick. I mean, don't get me wrong. She is good at being like, well, that doesn't make sense. She can follow a plot better than I can any day of the week, but she doesn't have as many complaints. Shit doesn't bother her the way that it does me. She's not trapped in her head reviewing the movie while she's watching it, which I'm jealous of. I wish I could get back to that point. But
but overall it was not like what you get. I don't want to tear this movie ass up. It's not terrible, but I think they had an where they utilized the opportunity given to them in Bloodlines. I feel like this one lost its way at some point. Like it could have been its own thing. You had cool cameos like Tony Todd, cool cameo. Plot was not hindering on Tony Todd.
Exactly. You could have done it without him, and it wouldn't have changed. It was just a cool thing that they did, and they tied it in so well. One thing I was saying going into this one, because of how same thing, kind of what you were saying, like the first movie, it's more just nostalgia. I think I ended up giving it like a 4, maybe a 3.75, which is right around the same thing that I gave Final Destination 1, by the way. Because you know what I mean? They are what they are. They were like, horror was pretty tame at the time. They didn't have the gore. It was like it was the era of annoying teens and annoying characters and all that. And I thought, like, dude, and the kills sucked in the first I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like, sucked outside of the very first one. And I'm like, dude, they have an opportunity to make this be the best one. Like, this could definitely be the best one that they've done. And it's definitely not. It's not that much worse than the first one, but you got to give the first one a lot more credit.
Yeah.
What do you think? I looked into this because just the way that they did, I'll call it the catalyst event in this one. they've got to set up that premise. These kids got to do something. It's got to be during the summer. And like they're out there just standing in the road. I thought it was kind of a weak, like I looked into it legally, and like, yes, you can be charged with something. If you're standing in the road and someone has to swerve out of your way and get in an accident, you're liable. But it's like such a disconnected way to be like, whoa, we've all got to keep this secret because I was standing in the road. Like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't seem like that serious of a crime that's going to ruin your life that everybody needs to band together and lie about you standing in the road and causing an accident. Like it was just a little on the silly side.
And then, I mean, let's talk, like, that's what I'm saying, the rehashing. It had to be a car accident, like the first one, first movie, it had to be a car accident. It couldn't have been any other event, a traumatic event during the summer.
Couldn't agree with you anymore. Do something, be on a boat, be on a plane.
Yeah.
Do something completely different. That's just like, oh yeah, that reminds me of what happened in the first one. You don't got to go to the same exact location. Like, it's shit like that throughout the whole thing. They're really like constantly giving nods to the first one, which, you know, if it works, it works and it's cool. But in this one, it's not that it didn't work. It was just unnecessary.
Too strong. Yes, unnecessary. That's the best word. It's like, okay, we get, after a while, it's like, we get it. You know, we connected to the first one. I see. And then, okay, without saying too much, that moment doesn't really, I guess, like hold up when you find out certain things about the end. Like you didn't that certain people didn't realize who was in the car, what was going on with that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Right. That's a good point. Like, yeah. Well, let's save that. But yes. I probably only have a few more things before we can get into the end and spoil everything. I wanted to mention one thing that I definitely appreciated was the girl receiving the card. Danica getting the card.
Oh, at our party? Yeah.
At the birthday party in front of everyone. Like, that was a pretty cool way to like get the I know what you did last summer card. Like, it was a bit of a unique twist on it, which I appreciated. The cast
wasn't always like
fine too. Go ahead.
No, shout out to one of the dudes. I actually enjoyed him. He's the one who put up the fight the most. He played in this episode of Atlanta that was about being biracial and like the pros and cons of it. Very great episode. But he is going to be in that movie. Him coming out.
Are you talking Teddy, the Danica's boyfriend, the one that's standing in the middle of the road? Tyreek Withers is the actor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool to see. I haven't seen him. I've only seen him in Atlanta, to be honest, and I know he's going to be in that movie. Him, but I didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't realize he was in the trailers. You know, so I was like, oh shit! So it was cool to see him. He was actually somewhat interesting character. I like when
he was probably the standout for me too.
Yeah, he had a cool little moment where he's squaring up against the killer, and he's like, he punches him. He's like, woo, you know, and I'm just like, that's okay, you know, I can dig it, like, you know, but what was that? My bad, I lost.
No, you're good. I was gonna say. I can read some chill comments. We can always get back on track with some chill. Says, I remember being hyped for part 1, then saw what kind of horror it was. No nudity. I just gave up on the franchise right there. Did you catch the reference when he's like, that guy, Tyreek, playing Teddy, says, well, so what? This guy's after us. I'm rich. Let's just fuck off and go to the Bahamas for a while until it calms down. And Freddie Prinze Jr. is like, for reasons I won't get into, that's a bad idea. Did you get that? Like, the references in part 2, that's what they do. They go to, I think it's maybe Jamaica or maybe it is the Bahamas, but I thought that was a cool little reference. And I can't remember if he's in part 2. Freddie Prinze Jr. Something tells me that
he was.
Oh, he is?
It was him. Was it Mekhi Phifer and Brandy? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, you're right. He's right there on the cover, and Brandy shows up. Spoiler at the end of this one. Just a little teeny tiny little spoiler. Chill out, man. Says I like Jack Black though, which is the fucking worst part of part 2. This Jamaican accent having Jack Black. What was I gonna say? Okay, so the kills. I'm looking through them here, and they're good. They're better. They're improved. But I still wouldn't say there's one that was like really top notch. Like, oh, like I don't think there's going to be any in here that we'll be talking about when we do the Bloodsies at the end of the year for the best kills of 2025. And you've got a slasher movie, you should go for it. Fucking have one kill. But is there any that stand out to you want to highlight that you can think of?
I mean, I like the sequence of Teddy fighting, but the one that really, I mean, that stood out to me the most, where I was like, okay, they're up in the end. It was I think it was like at least one of the first kills where the Danica's fiance, he gets the harpoon through the spear gun. I was like, okay, like, because admittedly, like we said, the first ones, there was always like these cutaways. There wasn't anything super graphic. And this one, there's kind of some savageness going on, where something you want from a slasher.
Right.
So with that first kill, I was like, okay, we're off to a good start, but it kind of never leads anywhere. It's
just like the original. In the first one, the kid from fucking Roseanne, he gets the kill, which is like the most graphic kill that we get in that, and then the kills get progressively less graphic as the movie goes on. This one, I think the harpoon kill, it might, there's that one, which is good. I love that they pose the body afterwards, which we just talked about in Blood and Black Lace. Might have been the first posed bodies. What were you saying?
I was going to try to guess the one you're going to bring up.
Oh, go ahead.
The model, the horror writer chick.
Oh, the pod. Oh, wait.
Well, I mean, I guess it's not too savage, to be honest, what happens to her.
The one that gets hung? The podcast?
Yeah. Yeah, she didn't get stabbed, though, does she?
No, they just hang her. There's a little bit of a cat and mouse thing there that's pretty solid, the elevator bit. But I was going to say the other one that is like pretty graphic is Teddy's dad. Like Teddy gets stabbed a bunch, which is cool. I like it. Like that's a pretty good bit. But his dad gets the hook, which use the hook. Like do some crazy shit with the hook. I thought he was going to go through his head and like pop his eye out with the hook, which would have been even cooler. But he just goes through his neck all the way, which again was solid. But there should have been one. It's 2025. Do something crazy. Like we've got In a Violent Nature, we've got Terrifier movies, we've got the Chucky TV series, which is doing insane shit on Peacock. Like you can go there. You can just go ahead and I get the idea. Like maybe you do want Mark's daughters to enjoy this movie. And if that's who you're aiming at, maybe don't go that far. I guess I get it. That's what I want.
No, because I thought that as well. I was like, maybe they're trying to homage the fact that, of B, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, but once again, like you stated earlier, that was made in a period where they had to make the movie like that. Like they, even this movie is probably bloodier than the first Scream. Scream is a 5 out of 5, but because of the era it came out in, they could only do so much. Like Scream is definitely scarier better. But
the suspense though, like if Wes Craven was directing the podcaster's death in this one, that cat and mouse that led up to it would have been what it was all about. Speaking of Scream, like my wife pointed this out during the theater, and I really noticed it last night. The first kill, the first whole bit felt like an homage, or the stuff we were at Danica's house with her fiance felt like an homage to the opening scene in Scream. You've got the pool in the back with the light going on and off. You've got the blonde wearing a white shirt. And there was maybe a couple other things. I noticed an homage to Friday the 13th. There was a couple Friday the 13th homages, but the one that I can remember is at the end of the movie, Danica, the girl that falls off the boat and she ends up washing up on shore, she's wearing the sweater. It's almost the same design sweater that Mrs. Voorhees wears in the first Friday the 13th. And there's it's like the same type of design going up lengthwise with a little variation, but very, very close to it.
I could see, I could actually say I found that outfit to be striking, so that had to be what it was. I was like, there's something about what she's wearing. Shout out! I was not shocked to see her wash up on shore at the end. I was like, she's not dead. She threw her off the boat. Like I mean, I feel like a shark would have got her ass if she was bleeding like that. To be honest,
right. That's a good point. Let's go, because what I want to talk about. Hold on, I'm looking through my notes, seeing if we should just start spoiling. Yeah, the other thing I'll mention is I don't really understand the idea, or I don't like the idea of turning the town from a fishing town into what they're calling like a Hamptons like town. Why? I feel like it goes with the era, like the era that we're in of Eat the Rich. and like rich people are the enemy, and you know people like seeing rich people die. So it's like, yeah, I get that. But I kind of like the aesthetic of this fishing town, like giving me more of that. If
Small.
you've got a hook of, you know what I mean, a fisherman killer, just like go with that vibe, like make it. Don't take away the fishing town aspect of it. But I guess they wanted
Yeah.
to have that. Like, it's I just realizing that it's almost like a Jaws thing, where Teddy's dad is like the mayor, and there's this
Yeah.
dangerous thing coming, but I still want tourists to come to the town. So they're kind of doing a Jaws bit, but it wasn't worth it, in my opinion.
No, yeah, no, yeah. This movie was a bunch of like nods and shout outs that it's cool for that they did it, but it doesn't mesh well. It conflicts with a lot of what the OG movies kind
Right.
of were about.
All right. Let's go ahead and spoil this thing. So, spoiler warning. We got a few of you just jumped in, so I'll say it again. Spoiler warning. We're going to be spoiling the end, the killer of I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025. Last warning. Spoiler warning. I kind of didn't like it, but at the same time, I do have to give them credit for what they did. My wife called it out in theater about 5 minutes.
Did she really?
Yeah, 5 minutes before the reveal. She's like, it's Stevie and it's Ray. Which, first of all, I can never hear Freddie Prinze Jr. called Ray without immediately thinking of Scary Movie and the Ray character in that movie with the gay football player. And like that to me is Ray. Like, but I'm like, oh yeah, he got that name from Freddie Prinze Jr. But yeah, I mean, I will give them credit. I don't think it was super cool, but at least they went for it. Scream has never, there's been like 5 Scream movies in a row where people think it's going to be Dewey or Gail or Sydney, or maybe they thought Randy in the second one, and they've never had the balls. They've never went for it in that department and made it work. And in this one, they did. Spoiler alert once again. In this one, they went and they had it be Freddie Prinze Jr. as the killer. And I don't even know his fucking reasoning. It was trauma. This man
That's
had
what
trauma.
I'm saying. That reason, bro. They so in the first movie, remember there was that little bit where they thought Ray might have been the. I think it was Ryan Phillippe's character put it in their head that it might be Ray, and they thought it was him because he was seeing Anne Heche.
Billy Blue.
Billy, yeah. But I think that's such a weak ass connection. Like, there's some I don't want to get into on stream, but I'll tell you, like, it reminded me of something in comics that is like. That was there, but I feel like that's a weak excuse at the end of the day to make this big turnaround. I don't know. They like it's such a turn because he's been such a not lighthearted, but he was like the nice dude for like he just good heart. You know, there was nothing to really indicate that in the previous movies. For him to morph into this type of character. And then, like you said, like the reasoning was shit. It just, I respect they went for it, but I wish they would have had something behind it. You know, made it have counted. You know, I don't really think
if anybody should understand these kids' plight, it would be him. He would understand, like, oh yeah, if shit happens, and some people will drag you into it, and maybe you know what I mean. Like it's just such a silly thing. Like, oh, they did this to you. What even is it? There's a couple of things that bug the shit out of me. So Stevie works for him. Is it ever even implied that Ray knew the guy that died? I don't think it is. Right? That's not. He's just doing this for her.
Yes, Stevie knew the guy who they hit. That's what I was saying about the beginning. Like, bitch, you knew he was in. You didn't realize that was his car. That's the guy who's helping with your drug shit. And how long did it take you to realize that was him? Like, you don't. Right. I don't know. It didn't make a lot of sense. But yes, Ray. So the reasoning essentially is that Ray felt his good heart. He felt so guilty, and he's like, I know what she's going through. I'm gonna help her. Maybe that's what I needed to do to get over my shit. I just needed to kill people back in the day.
Right.
So like that. That was the reasoning. That's what it doesn't make any sense.
Chill saying all those years, Freddie Prinze Jr. writing for Vince McMahon, WWE finally made him snap. I didn't know he did that. He played. He does a lot of voice work these days, and he was. What is his name?
Yeah,
Kane in Star Wars Rebels. He plays like.
Okay, yeah, Canon. He's like, to me, I feel like he's like he was an geek who just happens to be an actor. You know, now he's got his paychecks from his younger years. He just does work he wants to do, which is video games, cartoons, So
He's still
I
married to
like
Sarah Michelle Gellar, right? Like
yeah,
they're
got to give him. They both look great for their age. To be honest, they both look
right.
amazing.
Which I guess we could bring that up too. Like her, while we're on that, we'll go back to the kill and all that. But I appreciated it. Didn't really. It was totally shoehorned in. The Sarah Michelle Gellar cameo, very much shoehorned in, but I appreciated it. It was like whatever.
I
It's
like
cool
that. I like that better than Freddie Prinze. I think it made more sense because at least it's like, okay, it's in their head with this character who's kind of on the level. So like she is Sarah Michelle Gellar's replacement.
Right.
I don't like, you know, at least it was in her head. That's like if they ever brought back fucking, I think it's probably gonna be some shit in the new Scream movie because I think they cast the Billy dude. It could be just be a voiceover, but I believe he was cast for the new Scream movie. But even in that instance, it might be like a flashback or something, like or a visual thing or a mental hallucination.
Which they did.
I didn't mind it.
In 5, they have him de-aged, and he's like, because remember the main character in Scream, that's like
that's his daughter, right?
Daughter, right? Yeah. And he's
yeah.
showing up in her visions and shit. So that hopefully that's what that is. They're not going to bring
that I don't mind that though, because it's, you know, it's a cool way to put people in the franchise who have like been killed off or aged out. But you're directly involving a character. It's like it wasn't a very strong franchise to begin with. I don't even know why I'm so up in arms about this, but I don't know. It's just something I feel like Freddie Prinze was like, fuck it. Hey, it's a paycheck. You know, you know, he clearly he didn't care much about Ray as a character.
He looks great for his age. My wife was like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "I never thought he was attractive, but now I do." Okay, all right. So back again, if you're just joining, we have spoiled and we will continue to spoil. I Know What You Did Last Summer, 2025. So this is what I want to ask you. There are 2 scenes that have Stevie and Freddie Prinze Jr. and nobody else around before that, and they're not acting like they're the goddamn killers. Like, did you notice that the one time? The one time is when she's introducing. She's like, "Hey, we need your help," and it's just those 2 in a room, and all their friends are right behind them. So it's like, okay, I could kind of imagine why they were like, "Hey, we're just play this off." But then they show a scene later on where it's just those 2 and nobody's around. And he's like, "Stevie, we're gonna get through this." And like you could say like, "Oh, that's double talk. You think they're talking about this, but they're talking about we're gonna get through murdering
the whole
all
thing
these
at large."
people.
Yeah.
But the vibe is not that, man. Like when you rewatch it, you're like, why the fuck are these 2 talking with nobody around and not like acting like they're the killers? They're still acting like victims or whatever. So that was weird to me. What was the other hole that you pointed out earlier?
What was it? She not realizing that was her when they
I guess we already touched on that. And that's a pretty big one too. Here's the other fucking issue that I have. So it's known, it's no secret that Stevie works at Ray's bar. Okay, it's no secret. So why does Jennifer Love Hewitt, she gets on the computer, she sees a picture of those 2 together. She's like,
connecting the dots.
The killer. It's like they work together. Like it's crazy that they have a picture together. Like I didn't get why that made sense. Like why did that make her jump to the conclusion that he was the killer instantly?
As much sense as it makes about Ray, but like, you know what? I'm gonna hope the solution to this girl getting over her grief of a lost one is killing her friends. That indirectly, they didn't directly kill this dude. It was indirectly, but that's the solution. As much sense as that makes. That man, they could have. I don't know. Like they could have. If you're gonna go that mile to make that connection to the first one, you got to add some solid backstory for the reasoning behind that. And it was very loose connections with this.
I had to just look in my notes here, and I have written. Luckily, I have his other reason, like Ray's other big reason, is that they scrubbed the story from the internet. They walk around here acting like this didn't happen in 1997. Then write an article about it. Get on
Become a journalist.
Media. YouTuber, tell people about it. You don't got like it was just so fucking weak. Like it was such a bad reason for Ray to become the killer. It was almost like they didn't care. They were just like, "Oh, bro, this will be fucking awesome. We're going for it. We're gonna make him the killer." He's pretty much like Dewey's role in Scream 5. Like You know what I mean? It was almost
Yep.
like that. He comes in, he's a legacy character, he's helping him and all that, and he's older. But like if they would have made Dewey the killer in Scream and pulled that off, I don't know. It was like you could almost see why they haven't went for it in the Scream franchise, because it is so hard to make us believe that these characters that we've known for so long would flip like that.
So when the character Dewey's a breath, I'm glad you brought Dewey up because he's a great example. Like I've seen people float around the idea of like Dewey being the killer, but at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense because Dewey has exhibited so much heart throughout the series that you would really have to put in, like I said, a lot of backstory to really make it stretch as to why this character is snapped, like and just gone off the deep end. Ray, there's no way someone who cares that much So, for instance, in the OG movie, his guilt led him to reaching out to the sister when they killed the kid, and everyone else was like, "Fuck it, we were young, shit happens." Ray has a heart, or he had a heart and reached out. Like, there's no way this character would evolve to like, you know what? Solution has been to kill motherfuckers this whole time. That's what has been holding me back. There's that's such a weak stretch.
That'll get rid of this trauma. We'll get rid of that. All right, brother. I feel like we done did it, dude. If you got anything else you want to add, add it in the rating out of 5. Right. You guys in the chat, if you've seen this one, throw out your rating out of 5. For I Know What You Did Last Summer, where you landing on it, brother?
I'll give this one a 3. I didn't hate it, but they're good. Like the kills, they definitely up the energy. The killer feels way more antagonistic. Like he in the OGs, it's kind of like one of those situations where it's like with Michael Myers, Jason, you can get how people are running, but in this motherfucker's always kind of Michael Myers for the most part, how he's walking, but still always catches people. Some of that going on in the OG movies where it's like it's a regular dude in a fishing outfit, and he's like never running after people, but he always catches them. And this one, killers are a little, they're chasing after them if they need to, or it's like trying to really corner them and stuff. So they've evolved it, which they needed to, but at the same time, there's so many like weak nods to like, hey, remember this in the first movie? That's unnecessary nods and unnecessary stretches, weak ass stretches in terms of legacy characters. This is the first movie where it's like Scream and other movies have done it well. I guess it's just Bloodlines in terms of like evolving the franchise. I feel like this one dropped the ball a little bit. I'd be very surprised to see if we get a sequel to this, they really got to change some shit up.
I think I had the number in my mind. I had it here. I got it right here. Let me just look up the budget and how much it made, because it did okay. It had an $18 million budget and it's made $58.8 million. So it more than doubled. It nearly tripled. No, it did triple the budget. So it's super successful. So the way that we get it teased, they never even kill Stevie. So Stevie's still out there. Ray's dead. Jennifer Love Hewitt is still in the game. Brandy has been contacted. We've contacted Brandy.
That's the theme of the movie, because remember they make the joke about we should go get her at the end of the movie. Totally, it's like that's a solution for everyone. Just kill everybody. That's how you solve the problems.
That's all right. So a 3 from you, and I hate to do it. I hate to match you once again, but I'm for as much negative as we've had to say about it. It's like whatever. It didn't really ruin the movie for me. It's still a pretty entertaining watch. I did, for the most part, I enjoyed the new cast. There's nobody that I really didn't like. I thought the one guy you mentioned, Tyreek is the actor's name. Teddy was good. Danica was good. The lead character was maybe the least standout, but she was fine. She was just fine. Jennifer Love Hewitt didn't do much. So, but by the way, what did you think of the line at the end? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting? Did you catch that? That's what they were doing? Is again doing a nod back to 1997?
To be honest, before the reveal of that, I was like, oh, he did it. She bitch, you got what you were asking for. You kept saying what are you waiting for? He gave it to you. But no, it was Freddie that ended up getting it. But because she made this face and it looked like she got, and it was, but that that was a cool moment. I'll give it
It was
that.
fun. I'll give her that. She delivered the line really well too. She leaned. She's like, it could be cheesy, but she went for it. But again, I don't have any complaints about any of the cast. Like they were all fine. Freddie Prinze Jr. was just fine. I get after watching it a second time, like okay, I would be down to watch another one with the two main characters going to the Bahamas with Jennifer Love Hewitt. Like I would be down for it. And Brandy. What up, E? What up, my brother? But all right, so a 3 from both of us here on the panel. And yeah, I guess we'll wrap this bad boy up. Make sure you guys are coming hanging out with us on Thursday night as we continue our road to Halloween on week 4 of 7, the evolution of the slasher. Been a shit ton of fun so far. And this one we're doing the one that most people will be like, huh? Why are they doing that? Dracula, Prince of Darkness, and just go watch the film. Again, it's not streaming anywhere. If you want a link, hit me up on Instagram. I will send you a link and you can watch this bad boy. Blood.splatter.chatter over on Instagram. So hell yeah, man. Let's say, is there anything else I have to say? I do not believe so. You got anything you got to say? Anything you need to promote?
No, next Thursday, of course, and go check out Blood and Black Lace. I'm serious. It's definitely check it out.
You heard it here first. Getting you guys in the chat. The 9-panel grid, my brother Eric. Appreciate you jumping in here. Make sure you go and check out his channel over there, over Dr. Doom's fan club as well, where they're talking comics. They got their own separate things going on. Chill out, man. Appreciate you and Evan, Two Gun Pedro, Christina Payne coming through. And I hope you see you guys next Thursday for Dracula, Prince of Darkness.